Early Saturday morning, the Palma Mountains, Jalisco. 6 military helicopters surround the remote ranch. Elite forces deploy within minutes. The target, Nemesio Ossiguera Cervantes, or Almencio. The perimeter tightens. His guards open fire immediately. Heavy machine guns just trying to buy time. Forces move in. The outcome is no longer in doubt. Mencho tries to pull back toward the tree line. He's moving slowly. 2 bodyguards with him. One goes down, the other is hit. Then a bullet hits him. He dropped, alive. They move fast. He's loaded onto a military aircraft, headed for Mexico City. They wanted him alive, but mid-flight, his condition starts crashing. He loses consciousness. His heart stops before they land. Within hours, his death is confirmed, and then everything breaks loose. Mexico erupts. Chaos spreads fast. Roadblocks set on fire. Cars and businesses burning. Entire states come to a standstill. The death of one man set an entire country on fire. But this ending didn't start in Tapalpa. It started decades earlier in a poor village with a kid working avocado fields. Before we begin, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and now grab your favorite drink. Let's get right into it. Aguililla, Michoacan. That's where Almencio was born in 1966. A poor family, many siblings, almost no resources, and the environment around him wasn't calm either. Back in the 1980s, Michoacan was a major transit route for trafficking. Weapons and drugs weren't something distant. They were part of everyday life. By his teenage years, there was no obvious way out. He crossed into the United States illegally, ended up in California. At first, he got involved in small drug distribution networks, low-level stuff, but it didn't take long before he got arrested, more than once. Then in 1994, he was convicted in a US federal court for heroin distribution. He was sentenced to prison, served close to 3 years. By 1997, he was deported back to Mexico, and at that point, he had 2 choices: go back to being a small player in a minor network, or think bigger. He chose the more dangerous path. Instead of disappearing, he stepped straight into the system. According to reports, he joined the Jalisco State Police, a former criminal now wearing a badge. And this is where everything starts to change. Joining the police wasn't random, and it definitely wasn't redemption. It was a calculated move. Inside the police force, he learned how everything works, how patrols move, how cases are built, how informants are handled, how evidence disappears, but most importantly, how the other side thinks. He didn't stay long, but he stayed long enough. And instead of chasing criminal networks, he started protecting them, providing inside information about operations, helping shipments move through, warning them about raids before they even happened. That's when he caught the attention of something bigger, the Nemesio Cartel. At the time, it was a powerful organization tied to the Valencia family. He didn't enter as a law-level recruit. He entered through the family itself. He married Rosalinda Valencia. And this wasn't a love story. This was a direct connection to the cartel's financial wing, known as Los Quenes. The family controlled money laundering operations, shell companies, investments in agriculture and real estate. And just like that, he gained 2 things at the same time: a financial shield and a smuggling network ready. Then came 2010. The Mexican military kills Nacho Coronel, one of the top leaders of the Sinaloa cartel in Jalisco. That left a massive power vacuum. The Nemesio Cartel starts falling apart. Factions split, everything fragments. Mencho doesn't wait for orders. He gathers what left of his people, and instead of folding into another cartel, he chooses confrontation. 2011, a new name appears: Jalisco New Generation Cartel. Cartel, CJNG. Their first public message wasn't random, it was calculated. September 2011, in the city of Veracruz, 35 bodies are dumped under a busy bridge in broad daylight. A message signed by a group calling itself Mata Zetas or Zetas Killers. The statement claimed they were cleaning the country from Los Zetas. It was smart propaganda. They presented themselves as a controlled force fighting chaos. But the real message was different. There is a new player, and they are willing to kill dozens publicly. After Veracruz, CJNG was no longer a small faction. They started taking control of trafficking routes in Jalisco, expanded into Colima and Nayarit, and entered a direct conflict with the Sinaloa cartel. Then came the turning point. 2015. The government launches a large military operation in Jalisco. The objective, capture Mencho. But the response wasn't escape, it was escalation. His men ambush a Mexican military Cougar helicopter. They use an RGP-7. The rocket hits, the helicopter goes down. 8 soldiers are killed. It was the first time a cartel had shot down a military aircraft in a direct confrontation. And it didn't stop there. The same day, 39 roadblocks across the state. Banks burned, gas stations set on fire, entire cities paralyzed. That was the moment everything became clear. CJNG wasn't a traditional cartel anymore. It was a paramilitary organization. After that, Mencho built what becomes known as Grupo Elite. This wasn't just for show. It became the spearhead of urban control operations and the force that pushed back against military incursions. Full tactical gear, helmets, body armor, modern assault rifles, homemade armored vehicles known as narco tanks, hard training, strict discipline. Then the model expands. They took advantage of the port of Manzanillo in Colima, import chemical precursors from Asia, mass produce of meth and fentanyl, and push huge volumes into the United States. At that point, the DEA puts him on the top of their most wanted list. A $15 million bounty. Dedicated task forces tracking him. By 2016, CJNG is operating in most Mexican states. Networks across Central America. Connections reaching into Europe. Then comes a move no one expected. August 2016. A restaurant called La Leche in Puerto Vallarta. Armed men storm the place. 6 people are kidnapped. Among them, Ivan Archivaldo Guzman and Jesus Alfredo Guzman, sons of Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. This wasn't about money. It was a direct message to Sinaloa. Days later, they are released through internal mediation. But the message was loud and clear. He can reach the family of the most powerful name in the drug world. 2020, he takes the fight to the capital. An assassination attempt on Omar Garcia Harfish in Mexico City. More than 400 rounds fired. Grenades used. A coordinated attack in a high-end neighborhood. Omar survives and publicly confirms CJNG was behind it. From that moment on, Mencho becomes a top state priority and the head of a fully operational trafficking network. But while his empire was expanding, his body was breaking down. Leaked intelligence reports pointed to advanced kidney failure, regular dialysis sessions, constant movement between mountain safe houses, each one equipped with medical setups. The leader of the most powerful organizations in Mexico was now dependent on a machine just to stay alive. At the same time, the state was tightening the pressure. Arrests inside his financial network. The circle around him was getting smaller, and the mistake that led to him didn't come from tracking him directly. It came from watching the people closest to him. And that's what brings us to the phase right before Tapala. Getting close to him directly was almost impossible. No personal phone, no electronic communication that could be tracked, constant movement between remote mountain areas, messages delivered the old way, on paper, carried by trusted carriers. So the strategy changed. And instead of chasing him, intelligence shifted to watching who got close to him. The focus moved to his emotional and financial circle. His wife, Rosalinda, had already been arrested before and later released under conditions. His sons were under surveillance. His brothers were either in prison or wanted. But during that period, another name started to surface. A woman close to him, not publicly known, not on sanctions lists, and not officially linked to the cartel. At first, her movements didn't look suspicious. Frequent visits to mountainous areas in Jalisco, always accompanied by two armed men, known to be tied to CJNG. The surveillance wasn't rushed. Weeks of quiet tracking, long-distance observation, mapping entry and exit routes, studying the timing of every visit. Then a pattern started to repeat. Same vehicle, same route, same destination. The Palma Mountain region. To test the suspicion, intelligence leaked false information about a raid in different location. Within hours, security units shifted to a backup site that hadn't been identified before. That's when they knew the target was closer than anyone thought. Aerial surveillance expanded, confirmed permanent security presence at an isolated ranch. Medical supplies arriving regularly, heavy medical equipment being transported at night. The data pointed to one clear conclusion. This wasn't a temporary hideout. It was a long-term residence, and given Mencho's medical condition, the presence of dialysis equipment in a remote area was more than enough confirmation. The decision was made. February 22nd, 2026. After the last confirmed signal, there was no more time to wait. Every extra minute increased the chance he would disappear again. This had to be fast. Before he moved, before the information leaked, before he vanished one more time. And just like that, we're back to the beginning. Helicopters in the sky, the perimeter closing in, guards opening fire, him trying to escape, but this time, there was no higher mountain left to hide behind. And that's where his story ends. But that's where a bigger problem begins. Because after his death, CJNG didn't disappear. The organization had been built as a network of independent cells, regional leaders, self-sustaining financial systems, a military wing ready to move at any moment. Within hours of the announcement, multiple states went into paralysis, burning roadblocks across dozens of municipalities. Random attacks, civilian vehicles set on fire to shut down roads, flights cancelled, schools closed, security warnings issued to foreign nationals. The message was clear. The leader is gone, but the machine is still running. In Washington, intelligence agencies were watching closely because internal conflict inside CJNG would mean one thing: more fentanyl flowing north to finance the fight. And now, the question wasn't who was El Mencho, but who takes his seat. Because in the cartel world, power vacuums don't stay empty. Inside CJNG, there was no clear successor. Regional commanders already held significant autonomy. Early signs pointed to internal tension, uncoordinated movements in some states, limited clashes between factions that were once under unified command. Among the names being mentioned, Juan Carlos Valencia, known as EL-03, a figure close to the family circle, alongside field commanders like Al Jardinero in Nayarit and El Dobliere in Juanaqueto, both with enough influence to shift the balance of power. At the same time, the Sinaloa cartel was watching in silence. Moments like this don't come often. Your biggest rival collapses and the map starts getting redrawn. The Mexican government declared the operation a strategic success, the most dangerous target removed, a major symbolic victory. But on the ground, the problem didn't disappear because the infrastructure he built over 15 years was still there. Meth labs, fentanyl networks, maritime routes through Manzanillo, armed cells in the mountains. Killing the leader weakens the symbol, but it doesn't erase the system he built. And that's the paradox. A man who started with nothing turned himself into the center of a transnational network. Then he died, but after his death, the labs didn't shut down. The trafficking routes didn't disappear. The guns didn't go silent. The organization kept going because what he built wasn't dependent on one man. It was a system. And the Mexico's experience keeps proving one thing: taking down the head doesn't kill the body. And that was today's story. So what do you think, guys? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe if you haven't yet. See you in the next one.